A desperate and hungry Ohio State team has won yet again. They kick off October with a 42-3 win, and Lorenzo Styles is right here joining me on the notebook. I know you're in a hurry to get out of here. We can go down to the locker room.
Let's do it.
How did this feel tonight? You guys only get to play in this building once in October, which sounds kind of crazy, but it seems like you made the most of it.
Yeah, it felt great to win tonight. This was an important game. Every game is really important, so just having the opportunity to play together as a team, play well as a defense, it felt great.
We talked to you a couple of weeks ago when you banged up that shoulder, and it's like you've been playing at such a high level. You had one night that you kind of wanted to forget. The way you've bounced back the last two games, has that been validating, gratifying for you? I know you don't like the spotlight on yourself, but you've been playing at a high level.
Yeah, I mean, the ebbs and flows of the game. Like, some days you're going to have good games. Each game's kind of independent of itself. So just knowing I prepare each week and then knowing that we have to perform each week is very important.
All right, you can go celebrate with the family. Thanks, Lorenzo. All right. Desperate, hungry, eager for more. Ryan Day just finished up his post-game press conference upstairs right here, and it didn't sound like a team that had won 42-3. JJ, can I ask two things? Ryan Day was upstairs, and he keeps talking about how desperate and hungry this team needs to be, and he sounded like upset, and you guys just won by 39. Does that match up with what he was like in the locker room for you guys?
You can say that, yeah. We want to go out and beat people by 50, I should say. But, it was a great win tonight. Offense looked way better over the last 4 to 5 weeks, and I'm very proud of that.
The way that you and Carnell play off of each other, I know how proud you are of him and vice versa. Yeah. When he has a night like this, what is it like to see that, to be on the other side of the formation from him? Anything when you feel good for him making the plays he did? Yeah,
I'm always proud of Carnell. And it don't matter if he's making plays or not. I mean, Carnell is a guy that's gonna always do a job and be at the right place at the right time. And the night he had tonight was something very special. I mean, we all wanted for him, and I'm very proud of him. And I mean, I'm ready for Brandon Ennis to have his. He didn't even scratch the surface yet, and a lot of people down on him. I can't wait to see the things to do.
Well, now he's throwing the football.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, that's what we need to do.
When you look at, how would you describe, I guess I'm going to put it this way. I thought it was gorgeous, some of the deep balls that Julian was throwing tonight. Yeah. Is that the right word for it? How do you describe it as someone who's on the other end of it?
Like you said, it's gorgeous. I mean, I see it every day in practice. So, I mean, deep balls is something he's very good at, for sure.
Well, go enjoy the win. Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir.
All right. Couple scores there for Jeremiah Smith. Is that I said it earlier in the week, and it feels very much true. Ohio State does not have to play with the most urgent tempo in the world for him to still be recognized as the best offensive player, best football player in the country. It's like sometimes effortless for him what he's able to do as the yardage, the catches, the scores, come for him. And I would describe it as the way Ohio State played this entire game tonight. It was not a team that was in the absolute highest gear from start to finish. We did see them play a more aggressive brand at time. We certainly saw them throw the football down the field a lot more on Saturday night in the Horseshoe in this win against Minnesota than they did against Washington, or than they certainly did in the season opener in this building against Texas. They're stacking some things and they're getting better, but they're also going to continue at times to play with that more deliberate pace. And that, I don't mean that as a criticism in any way, shape, or form, because Ohio State handled this game not entirely from start to finish. Once Minnesota got that field goal early on, they had the football for 6 plus minutes, 13 plays, 66 yards on that drive. It's like they showed up. They were going to try and play physical. They had a decent game plan, but that fell apart pretty quickly once Ohio State ramped up the tempo on its own offense. Now they missed a field goal early, and it's like, could you let this game get a little bit wonky and out of whack? The potential was there, but right there on that second drive, you just saw Ohio State really get things into gear, kick things up to another level, and that was with this guy right here, Julian Sayin, throwing for, I don't know, what did he finish with, Berm? Do you have? A couple hundred, nearly 300 yards. Carnell Tate with a record-setting game. I think he was still locked upstairs. He was talking about his most impressive game of his career at Ohio State. We'll get to all that. The Buckeyes are filing out. They're trying to get out of this stadium as quickly as possible. You get these late night games. They're not Ohio State's favorite. I know the crowd loves it. It worked out great for homecoming. The atmosphere was certainly juiced down here. But there's a quick turnaround. Ohio State has to play next Saturday at Illinois, a very physical Big Ten opponent that just got another win of its own. And that game is going to start at 11 Central Time. So the wheels are already in motion for the Buckeyes Yeah, 23-27 for 326 and 3 scores. Thanks to Berm behind the camera for getting those exact numbers for Julian Sayin. You can see, I think Berm and I talked about this on Snap Judgments in Seattle last week, that the maturation that you're seeing in real time from this quarterback over there talking to Dom is fascinating. I mean, today it was the deep shots. It was composure in the pocket. He took some hits in the pocket and delivered a ball to Max Clare that was like, okay, well, that's yet another new thing that we have not seen from Julian Sayin to this point. Quinn Temple's got to get the buses leaving. Buckeyes have got to get out here. So I did believe I saw Matt Patricia still in there, Berm. So we may hang around and talk to the Ohio State defensive coordinator before we go down to the another sort of buried the lead on that, haven't we? The Buckeyes go through, they've played 5 games. 3 of them have resulted in defensive performances that did not allow a single touchdown. Minnesota threatened early on. Buckeyes batten down the hatches as they tend to do. They just give up the field goal early on. They've got another 4th and 1 situation in the second quarter. And these guys are just, I think, short yardage like studs. It's unbelievable. Great job by the offensive line there. Tyler Bowen trying to get on this bus as well. The Buckeyes trying to clear out of here. As I was saying, though, this defense, they get another 4th and 1 stop. Situational football and defense, not a problem really in any way, shape, or form for Ohio State through 5 games. I think you could still nitpick a little if you wanted to offensively. Some decisions and some things that clearly had Ryan Day's mind. He was talking about them upstairs, harping on Bo Jackson with the football. They put in Lincoln Kienholz again. I still don't love the idea of rotating quarterbacks, and it didn't work the first time that the Buckeyes did it. Here goes Mike Bassford, another great SID night upstairs. What was your stat of the game?
It's the Newt Rockne thing. It's whenever you get a question that cites the Ohio State game notes, I mean that takes the cake. So Newt Rockne. So we got a winning percentage that's higher than the all-time winningest coach by percentage.
Is that good or no?
I think that is pretty solid. Okay. So let's just keep doing it. All right, let's keep going.
Great. Mike Bassford, Ohio State SID. Fresh off that note performance. I don't know. Is this locker room empty? Let's take a peek in here again, Berm, and see if you'd like any smoothies or Donato's Pizza. They have so much more variety on the road. I think I would be embracing that if I was Ohio State. Like, there's so much good food in Columbus. No offense to Donato's and Smoothie King. They do a great job helping out this team, but you just want a little variety in your diet, don't you? Anyway, all right, let's go through some more of this here. So one of the keys that we're going to be talking about in this week ahead, Kenyatta Jackson and the situation at defensive end for Ohio State. He left. This is the second game where he's dealt with an injury and he's had to leave. His health status has been up and down. We just talked to him on the notebook leaving Washington about one of the finest performances of his career, and didn't have any knee brace on or any sleeve in that game and looked great. And then a week later, he's sidelined again. He was in shorts as he left. He was down there on the field with Ohio State, just in shorts. All the pads were gone at the end of this game. That's a player who Ohio State obviously really needs to be healthy for them to be the best version of themselves. And it's going to have a potential domino and ripple effect as the Buckeyes kind of manage this roster. And because you saw tonight, CJ Hicks was on the sideline. He did not have on the full pads. He didn't have his helmet through any parts of this game because he has the potential opportunity in front of him where he could redshirt. Now, there's a reason why those decisions can't be really made definitively at this point of the year, and it is because if Kenyatta Jackson has recurring injuries, or if this, which we don't know, turns into a long-term injury, then that need becomes really apparent. Now, Zion Grady stepped up and played in those reps where we would have, I think, expected to see CJ Hicks against Minnesota tonight. He made the most of that. That's important. Those are things that Ohio State can build on and improve on as they go forward here, but they're going to have to piece some of that together. And Bo Atkinson, I think, has stepped up at times. But you look at this group, Harvell Reese can fill in there and they play him on the edge. And saw Peyton Pierce involved at linebacker as they rotate that around. But it was a reminder of the important role that Kenyatta Jackson has to play, in that while all we talk about is the productivity of that top group of rushmen, the depth is still not at the most ideal point for Ohio State. And they've played 5 games. They're not even halfway through the regular season. And we've seen this sort of pop up a couple times for them. So we'll see if that lingers, how that lingers, what that is going to mean for the Buckeyes. But they did get some guys to step up, obviously, on defense because they held the Gophers to 3 points. And, as I said, when they switched gears, as you look into that third quarter, they had a 6-minute drive just to start the second half where they still only wound up at the 40 because they had some penalties moving back. They're trying to find some things out with their rushing attack. It didn't quite connect for most of the game tonight. But when you have a passing game, the way Julian Sayin, Jeremiah Smith, Carnell Tate arise a little bit from Max Clare at tight end tonight for the Buckeyes, what you see as those guys take that next step forward is that you can build a rushing game that is a complement to the passing attack and not the other way around. And I think that's maybe where we're starting to see some of the identity emerge for the Buckeyes. Again, maybe that was just the way Minnesota chose to play Ohio State. That could very well be the case. Maybe we'll see something really different next week against Illinois. I don't know, but that is some of the versatility that Ohio State has on both sides of the football with the talent that they've assembled there. Can you peek in there, Berm? Was there anybody coming, or are the Buckeyes all on the bus?
The head coach is still in there.
Head coach is in there. All right. Well, we'll give it another. We're not in a hurry. Notebook can roll along. Tom, we can do Ryan Day first. Hey, Jerry.
Hey.
Great SID night. Okay, what's going on here? We got some movement. What's in there, Berm? Shoot it. No people. Great. Why don't you tell me who your player of the game was?
Carnell Tate. He had 200 yards receiving.
That's pretty good. What about a defensive player of the game?
I really like Caden McDonald because when he's in the game, things are different. And even in Minnesota's last scoring attempt drive where they missed the field goal, it was like Ohio State decided to put Caden back in the game and then it stopped. And like that sort of thing. And I think that's why Ohio State is so wanting and willing to play deliberately, because those guys need rest. Because Caden McDonald, if he's off the field, the defense changes.
I couldn't agree more with Berm. So Carnell Tate, he's very good. Lincoln Kienholz did come in, as I mentioned. Ryan Day said he needed to be in the A gap. That was a third and a long one where the Buckeyes put him in and rotated quarterbacks. Said needed to stay in the A gap, and he popped it outside. He sort of tripped once he started to do that. He went down. The Buckeyes, wound up having that drive, come to a screeching halt at that point. Certainly not what they wanted. There were just a couple opportunities in short yardage scenarios where the execution wasn't perfect. Is that the standard to be perfect? No, it isn't. But I'm going to flash back to what I said about Ryan Day's press conference upstairs. We'll see if he jets out of here immediately or not. But, he got to a point after like 5 minutes in the press conference where it was like that fiery intensity that we talk about in him that he a lot of times throughout his career has buried and not revealed publicly. But he just keeps hammering home this desperate and hungry team. And so my question was, because he went on a lengthy answer about it to Rob Aller from the Columbus Dispatch, and I followed up because when you were talking about it on Wednesday, does that mean that you were concerned about it? Well, I know better. That's on me. You don't ask a coach if he's concerned about something because they're concerned about everything. Like if he had noticed any of that flagging, if there was complacency creeping in for Ohio State. And the answer was no, but it was also revealing because it means that there has to be ongoing, continued vigilance about this, because Ohio State, in his words, is chasing greatness, and you have to do that every single day. And you don't have an opportunity to take days off. And I thought that they played with that, that sort of mindset, hair on fire mentality tonight. It's hard not to when you're beating a Big Ten team 42-3. I think that we can still look at parts of this game and see the things that he's talking about, where they can improve. Now, he is a perfectionist, and I think that's why you've seen him reach these heights of Newt Rockne and the winning percentage right there. he's not, these are the games that he does not take for granted. And we've seen that with other coaches, with other programs. That happened to Penn State on Saturday at UCLA, a winless UCLA, a sleepy Rose Bowl, and Penn State completely no-showed that. You don't build a winning percentage like Ryan Day has here at Ohio State without beating every team that you're supposed to. Now, the criticism and the knock at that 1 point for him, certainly coming out of last November, was that the biggest games, Ohio State didn't have a winning record in them. Ryan Day didn't have a winning record in them. But that was used, people pointed that as, oh, that's a hollow defense. If anybody at Ohio State should win every game that they're favored to be. And that's not reality. And we've seen that even from Ryan Day's predecessor here, that he was phenomenal in the game and undefeated against Michigan, but there were some odd ones in there like an Iowa or a Purdue. And, at this point, that has not happened to Ohio State under Ryan Day's watch. So I think he deserves full credit for that. Now, the season is not half over yet. So I don't mean to jinx him on that, just pointing out a quirk and a fact of his record at this point. What else we got here? Oh, how about this truly bizarre personal foul on Caleb Downs?
I thought that was on Jermaine. I thought they just called it.
Berm says that they...
I don't know. So I was like, where has Caleb Downs ever done anything like that?
Well, I think what happened, and maybe I saw the replay wrong, because I saw Caleb Downs get speared in the head or near the head after the play, and then it looked like he was kicking the guy off of him. I think that's what got called. Maybe Jermaine did something. That wouldn't be outside of the realm of possibility. Saw at one point Edric Houston do something that looked like it was close to what he did against Washington before he came up to the locker room a little bit early with, I think, that ankle injury still nagging. So, looking at the health of this Ohio State defensive line is also going to be really important, with Illinois and Brett Bielema wanting to run the football next week, some improved play at quarterback. If you thought Edric Houston was playing more energetic, he looked healthier for a long portion of this game before he left it, which is important. We talked about it for the last 2 weeks, that the best version of the Buckeyes may well rely on him reaching that 5-star potential. Tywan Malone has been doing really good work. Obviously, Caden Curry and Caden McDonald are still playing at a high level, but as Berm mentioned a second ago, they're going to need more guys to fill out those reps. All right, we'll head down towards the field. That looked like a coach that wanted to get out of here, and I am not going to stand in the way of that. What? So, a week from now, well, it's going to be a month almost until we're back in this tunnel and in this building. I don't love that setup. I can't imagine that Ohio State and Ryan Day really love it either. They're heading on the road for the next 2 weeks in Big Ten play. He called it, this phase of the schedule with 3 out of 4. Already took care of Washington, have Illinois at 11 a.m. Central Time next week. And then Wisconsin, which I expect there will be the Big Ten broadcast assignments announced on Monday, unless they use the 6-day window. But I don't think that they will need to for Ohio State's trip to Camp Randall. I fully expect that game will be on CBS, and it will kick off at 3:30 Eastern. That's about as close to a finalized decision as I think it could be. But I'll leave that to the Big Ten to actually announce. So this is the last view in here with these lights on and with the Buckeyes in it for a while. They made the most of this opportunity on homecoming. They extended their undefeated record when Taylor Swift releases music, which I don't know why Mike Bassford didn't put that note in the stat sheet tonight, but I gave it to him. It was Jerry. I told him this is a free one. We've already looked it all up for you, but I guess they don't care about that fact. And truthfully, it doesn't really matter anyway. It's just a reminder that Ohio State wins a lot of games, and also Taylor Swift puts out a lot of music. Buckeyes are winners. Dominate Minnesota, 42-3. Those stats look pretty good. Hard to argue with that performance. So, Defend the Shoe was done. Now they're going to Champaign, Illinois for their second Big Ten road game. They are 5-0. They're the number 1 team in the country. They are on to the next challenge, and they're still trying to stay desperate and hungry. And I don't think that Ryan Day will accept it if they're not. Thanks to Jeremy Birmingham behind the camera on the notebook. Everyone watching on 97.1, the Fans YouTube channel, 10TV, 10TV Plus. We appreciate all of you. On to game number 6 for the Buckeyes. We will see you next week.